I love that, man.
Yeah.
Amadeus, bro, in the film, everything was just A1 from like top to bottom. And one of the things that I loved was that you challenged our beliefs. Growing up in the South, of course, Bible Belt, everybody's Christian base, heavy in the church, but seeing how you would break down certain things, I was like, man, I love it, because as a storyteller, you were pushing boundaries, whether it's talking about God, our concept of God, all of those things. I think one of the top ones was breaking down of the 23rd Psalm, thy rod and thy staff, they shall comfort me. Break that down, ancient Kemet, I love that. Yahweh, that name, I think you brought out Exodus 15:3. I'm like, yo, he's providing sources for everything he's saying, like, trip. So what motivated you just to say, yo, I'm gonna go all out and I'm gonna try to make you feel uncomfortable sometimes?
I think that we grow through being uncomfortable. I'm gonna repeat that again.
Wow. Yeah.
We grow out of being uncomfortable. It's just like resistance training, bro. When you go to the gym, you're not in there comfortable, bro.
That's right.
You're breaking down muscle. And you're fighting against your own body because your body's like, this is too hard. Let's just stop. You know, timer says 18 minutes, but bro, let's just stop at 10 because I'm tired. No, you got to do 18 minutes and then you got a cool down period, an extra 3 minutes. Oh, we got it. You know what I mean? Pushing yourself. Last week you was at this many weights and now you got it. At this, you know what I mean? You got to keep pushing the bar. Even speaking arrangements, speaking engagements, like those are uncomfortable circumstances. Like you are taken out of your comfort zone and doing that uncomfortable task, because work is never fun, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like real strenuous work, whether it be physical or mental. It's not fun. Most of the time, it's not fun. But when we do it, we learn stuff about ourselves. We learn, hey, I can go past. I thought my breaking point was here, and it's really here. You know what I mean? I thought it was really. I can go the distance. I can take that criticism. I can take. I can develop this thick skin where people say things and it doesn't hurt me. You know what I mean? I could look at what they're saying and take the positive things and learn from those and make me a better person. You know what I mean? So I just, I'm always trying to push the bar, right? Even in myself. And I find that most of the time in doing so, it's impossible not to make people uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Because people don't want to change.
That's right.
That's why a lot of people are scared to go into ancient Kemet. Like off to you coming from a Christian background, and I come from that Christian background, so I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like people are just dismissive of the information because they don't want their personal beliefs to be challenged, right? Maybe they're not prepared to really defend those beliefs, right? Maybe they're not as educated as they believe they are, right? Or they're showing you, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they doubt whether their religion is actually true. That's why they try to go so hard to try to project and defend, you know what I mean? And defend it. But it takes the ability of someone to say, I can totally be wrong. Everything that I know could be totally wrong, right? I could, you know what I mean? I could just be insane out of my mind. Let me take that position that I'm wrong and let's explore this side and see where it takes me.
Amadeuz, bro, first off, man, I appreciate you. This doc right here, Out of Darkness, Heavy as the Crown, Volume 1. This was fire, bro. I remember, man, just 2 years back being on Amazon, tapping in. I was like, yo, this quality is crazy. Like, it was a great conversation. You had so many legends, whether it was Baba James Smalls, Dr. Kappa Kamene, Taj Tariq Bey, Sabir Bey, list just goes on, Dr. Tony Browder. And then, man, this most recent one was ridiculous, bro. I checked it out. I was with my girlfriend, my family. Everybody loved it, bro. And the number one thing that everyone said was it was the quality. So I just want to give you all your flowers and say thank you, man.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Is that how you originally found it? Was through Amazon?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. Because that was during the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken. That was like not early 2020, but it was like April.
Got you. So the algorithm actually helped me that time, huh?
Yes, man. Like, it popped up on the feed, and I was like, I've heard of this doc. Let me watch it. Ever since then, had to go to social media, followed you, YouTube channel, whole nine.
Man, that's big. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. The quality, man. Quality is my biggest. Is what I push, man. To everybody that I work with. Quality is my thing, even if it takes a little bit more time to get it right. The quality has to be there, because I feel like we have to set that standard. A lot of times, and this might be the theme of this conversation, but a lot of the times we tend to try to eliminate the standard.
Wow.
Instead of going over and beyond the standard. Because there's a reason why that standard is there. Like I'm not just competing with films in the conscious community. I'm competing with every other film that's on Amazon, that's on Apple TV, that's on Google Play, right? That's on all of these streaming platforms, including YouTube. So I'm battling for attention. And just because I know it's an independent film, right? The projects that I'm doing are completely, it doesn't get any more independent than this, but the people don't see it that way, right? They're not going to make concessions, and they're not going to make excuses for me because I'm an independent filmmaker. It's like, I still have to capture the people's attention. I still have to go over and beyond that standard. I still have to bring out the best and showcase the best from our elders and package everything so where it's visually stimulating and entertaining as much as the information is, right? So, yeah, man, I just, I'm sure we'll get into this, but I come from a music video background. And I just always, just as a Black man, I'm sure the standards being imposed on you are just ridiculous. The standards that are imposed on us as Black men are 10 times what the standard is for everybody else. And we could well excel beyond those standards and still not get the accolades that we are deserving. So it just makes us go even harder and harder and harder to a point where, you're like a wise man. A wise man once told me, shout out to Zoda Rosa, but from Oakland, but he used to always tell me that the pigeons don't soar with the eagles. And as I understood it when he first told me way back in the day, but I'm kind of understanding more of that as I get older. It starts to make more sense because you start to see things from a bird's eye view. And when you reach a certain level, you kind of see that it's not many people flying up there with you. Wow. You got a lot of room to spread your wings, so to say, if you're able to fly that high, if you got the strength to do it.
Man, dropping heavy gems early. I love that. Pigeons can fly with the eagles on the dock as well, man, talking about the Falcon and about its abilities, superhero abilities. It's crazy. I stay here in Atlanta, so Atlanta Falcons, just seeing that, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. But being someone that's in film who's just dropping heavy knowledge all the time, how does it feel knowing that you have a product that's that's out there that you dedicated so much time into, energy into, and you have people that give you positive feedback. Even on Google, bro, IMDb or IDBM, all the letters, whichever one it is, rated at 9.5 out of 10 is crazy, bro. That's crazy.
That's insane to me. Like the ratings and especially like the IMDb, because I know IMDb is harsh. You know what I mean? Like I know they could be harsh, man. I know it's like it don't have a whole bunch of ratings, but like the feedback, like people are leaving like whole essays and you know, just saying like it changed their life. And, you know, like I personally believe that a lot of us, you know, just from our own personal experiences, we have a lot of the dots, right? We have a lot of the dots, but a lot of the times those dots don't get connected together.
That's right.
Right. And I feel like I said this on a podcast a few days ago, shout out to AfricanAncestry.com, but I told them like Out of Darkness is like, it's like Neo in the Matrix, right? Once Neo woke up out of the Matrix and he, you know, he talked to Morpheus and Morpheus told him what the real deal was. And they still had to find his body. They still had to go back and unplug his body. And I said, OOD, Out of Darkness is like, it locates you in space and time.
Wow.
So it basically puts everything on a timeline. And like it connects all of those dots together. And it's like, oh, slavery, oh, the Moors, oh, ancient Egypt. I didn't know ancient Egypt was us. I just knew that everybody was copying it, but I didn't connect it to Africa, and I didn't connect that to the Moors and to America, being their indigenous Americas, and being, and you know what I mean? The indigenous people of America, and then really the indigenous people everywhere. You know what I mean? And then when you start really breaking down the science of it, it's crazy, man. And I'm just scratching the surface, bro. I'm still learning. Every day. I'm still a student. You know, I'm still growing. I'm still evolving. I'm still in the process of becoming who I am. But I will say this, Out of Darkness, you know, it's kind of like you're walking with me through my personal journey of enlightenment, but Out of Darkness is I got way bigger projects than Out of Darkness. Out of Darkness is kind of like practice, so to speak, for me.
Wow. Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Just being a filmmaker, a creative, I can like each project, there's always, you know, mental critiques on, okay, next time I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna do that. Like I could see that. Like progression is just crazy on each project. But man, overall, hearing that you started doing music videos, how did you just get started in film? And what was that transition like from shooting music videos to now saying, yo, I'm ready to just provide gems, whether it's talking about our history, dropping down, because that's a big leap, and you killed that leap and still killing it. So how'd that happen?
I never thought I was going to be a filmmaker.
Wow.
I came into this by accident, bro. If you want to take it back to childhood, to my childhood, I just remember I was the kid who was always would come home from after school and be watching Michael Jackson videos. Like I had, what was the name? I forgot the name of the movie, Moonwalker. I had Moonwalker, and Moonwalker had it was a movie of a collection of all of Michael Jackson's videos. I was real big on like MC Hammer. You know, back in those days, like the videos were like movies. You know what I mean? So I always had this synchronization between movies and film and music, right? But I never thought that film was going to be my path. I thought that music was going to be my path.
Wow.
So I was originally a rapper, bro. Like people still to this day, don't know me as a film director. They know me as a rapper. Wow. Like I have albums and stuff on iTunes and everything that like I'm still trying to. They've been signed under Universal, so you know what I mean. I gotta reclaim that, but I'm not really focused on the music so much as it pertains to like being a rapper. More so now as it pertains to the film and you know doing the sound scoring. But to answer your question, music videos was the one thing that I couldn't afford as a rapper. You know what I mean? And when I say a rapper, I became an audio engineer. I was running my own record label. I had a distribution deal. I actually went to school to become an audio engineer. You know, I got certified in Pro Tools and everything.
Wow.
So I was like making my own beats, running the sessions, rapping, running my own label, running the distribution company, consulting other rappers, holding weekly meetings, you know what I mean? Running like, really like helping to run, or being a consultant, I would say, to like 2 or 3 other record labels. You know, all of this was out of the Bay Area. I'm from Oakland, San Francisco, originally. But it was just a lot going on at the time. And I decided to go back to school. To answer your question, I randomly got a job at Google as a field tech. I don't know how crazy that sounds, but like getting into Google is like harder. It's harder than getting into Harvard University. I'll put it like that. So I get a call one day. I'm at the studio and I get a call from a contractor who contracts with Google, and they're like, Google needs a field tech. Can you do this? And they had came across my resume. It's crazy. So I started working at Google, and let's just say I was inspired to go back to school, working around these highly intelligent people and these go-getters, right? You're literally like working with some of the smartest people in the world. You know, I was there while they're developing Android and stuff like that. I got a lot of stories about that, but make a long story short, I was inspired to go back to school. And because backing up, I was never able to shoot a music video for myself, I kind of randomly picked film because I always wanted to shoot my own music videos.
Wow.
Now, kind of so part of my requirements for graduation was I had to do a radio class. So boom, I'm in the radio class, and they actually have a radio station at San Jose State where I graduated from. So now, you know, I'm dealing with real artists. I'm dealing with Kendrick Lamar, his early, like, I think we did his first headline show.
Wow.
Was that, I forgot what the brick and mortar place was, but it was in Oakland. I can't remember the name of it now, but yeah, we ended up interviewing him at his first headline show in Oakland. Him, Don Kennedy, ASAP Rocky, ASAP Rob, a lot of people, bro. Because what they would do is, you know, they would come to the Bay Area, hit up the radio station. We go to their show. I'm on stage with them, filming them. And then afterwards, we would do the interview. So now I'm on all the blogs. I'm on, you know, your hip hop DXs, your allhiphop.coms. You know what I mean? I'm really like politicking with A&Rs and stuff like that. So that, to answer your question, I know this is a lot, but so that eventually segued into me doing music videos. Because then it turned in from doing interviews to doing music videos. So I'm like, hey, I could do music videos. So when it come time to find a real job, right? You know, a job, nobody would hire me, but I had music videos on MTV. I had music videos on Revolt TV. I'm taking calls from record executives over music videos, but I can't find a job. You know what I mean? Wow. And I want to say it was racism, but you know how that go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Can't really say that. So anyway, that prompted really 2 things. It prompted me to go into business for myself, and then dealing with the industry, which I also kind of didn't like, because it's really like when you get to the root of like the music industry, you find out that it's like really 95% non-Black people making 99% of the money, you know, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And they're telling us, they're dictating to us what kind of music that we should make.
That's right.
So I got tired of that scene, and I was like, well, in this time, I'm kind of coming into consciousness, and we can kind of go into that. That's a whole different story. But I decided, by the words of Dr. John Henry Clark, he said, find what you do best and use it to serve your people. And that's what I did. in transitioning from shooting music videos to making Out of Darkness, I just really wanted to create something that I had control of, that I owned, that was positive, and that would benefit people. You know what I mean? Even with the music videos, I would form them in a way where they had messages. You know what I mean? It wasn't just all cars and girls and guns, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even with the music videos, I always try to put a message in there. But with my own film, you know, I had total freedom to do what I wanted to do with who I wanted to do it with, you know, and obviously you saw, you know, by watching Out of Darkness, I was blessed and fortunate enough to get access to the elders who gave me their time when a lot of people wouldn't give me their time. They gave me the time, and they just sat with me for 15, 20 minutes, an hour at a time, by just me running up on them, you know? It wasn't like, you know, I think Kaba was the only person that I really like arranged to have to come to the Bay Area, but everybody else was just showing up, you know, at speaking arrangements, and I would just go to where they were, and I just say, hey, I'm a young filmmaker. I'm making a documentary about African history. Can you help a brother out? You know what I mean? Can you give me some time? You know what I mean? Dr. Joy DeGrew, hats off to her. Atlantis Browder, hats off to her. Yeah. Tony Browder, hats off to her. Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Umar Johnson, even Tim Wise. I mean, everybody was just like, let's go. You know what I mean? I just was I was just fortunate to be able to weave all of that together.
Yeah.
With a minimal knowledge of animation. You know what I mean? And I just made it happen, bro. That's the story.
Man, I love that. And bro, I'm gonna tell you something, as someone who went to school for journalism, doing that now, seeing each film, I'm so appreciative because I know what goes on and what goes into trying to get somebody on camera or interview, and then trying to interview not only one person, but multiple people. And throughout each doc, I see how one person could be talking about this topic and you have to merge when somebody else was talking about the same thing. And it's those like subtleties that average people don't realize, that probably took you hours just to make that 10-second clip plus B-roll, man. So please, man, talk to me. Like, what was that whole process like?
If you guys really knew like the process of like Out of Darkness means has its own metaphor. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It comes from me like really a lot of personal stuff going on, bro. A lot of spiritual stuff going on, a lot of oppositional forces coming my way. So for me to just pull myself out of a dark place is really the meaning. I mean, it has a lot of other metaphysical meanings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could expound upon. But usually, to answer your question, I have a general outline. Like when I was in college, I learned how to write essays really well. I used to write essays like the day before they were due and get A's just because I understand structure, right? And this might be a bigger point to make, is that anything that you want to do in life, you just have to break it down into small steps.
Sure.
Everything has a series of small steps. And a lot of the times we try to take those big steps and we can't make those big steps. So we get frustrated and then we give up, right? But that big step that you tried to take was really like 5 small steps that you tried to leap over. You know what I mean? So in doing film, I break it down like an essay, you know? I break down the chapters, you know, like Out of Darkness has 13 chapters. I don't know if anybody like peep, but it has 13 chapters broken down. OOD, Out of Darkness Heavy as the Crown has 7 chapters. I can name those chapters, but you know, people got to do their own research. Go watch the film, guys. It's on Amazon. But I break it down. I'm just telling you my process as a filmmaker. Yeah, so now I got my 7 chapters, right? Each one of those chapters obviously has a different theme. So now I go through each of the interviews and I cut it up, what everybody's saying in accordance with what chapter it would align with, right? So if you're talking about the judgment scene, I cut that part up, put it in the judgment scene chapter. If you're talking about the neteru, the neture, I cut that up, put it in the neture chapter. If you're talking about mythology, I cut that up, put it in the mythology chapter, right? So what ends up happening is your film begins to grow really organically. And you find that the words of the different elders start connecting together, right? Because the truth is, if you're really telling the truth is going to show itself. And the truth begins to reveal itself by connecting the different words and the different themes. And, you might start with a chapter list of 5 chapters, but that might grow into 7 or 8, right? So you're watching this thing kind of grow and you're not rushing it. You know what I mean? A lot of people, we get stuck on timelines and we try to rush stuff before it's really complete. Like I was running the original trailers on Heavy as the Crown back in 2017. That's why you start to see all this Heavy as the Crown stuff. You start to really, if you really look at Heavy as the Crown, like just type in Heavy as the Crown in Google, a whole bunch of stuff will start populating that has nothing to do with me, but you'll see like it doesn't go past like 2018, 2019. There's a lot of albums, people name their tours Heavy as the Crown. And I'm like, oh, because the original statement was heavy is the head that wears the crown. It wasn't heavy as the crown. I came up with that. Just like the original Heavy as the Out of Darkness cover had the boy like this.
Yes.
Well, everybody associates that with Black Panther. Black Panther came out 2018, bruh. Darkness came out 2015. Do you understand?
Yeah.
2015. So to answer your question on a metaphysical level, a lot of this stuff is given to me, bro. I can't explain it. You know what I mean? It's just the ether or whatever you want to call it. Some people call it the Akashic records or the spiritual. I just feel like I be tapped in, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I'm self-reflective enough to put my ego to the side. And still learning how to do that now, especially as a father. You gotta put your ego to the side. But in me doing that, I learned how to tap in to the ancestors and tap into that spiritual realm. You know what I mean? Because Tony asked me the same question, man. I remember us coming back from Kemet in 2019. We were at the airport, man, on the escalator. And he was just like, man, how do you come up with this stuff? You know what I mean? I didn't really know how to answer his question at the time. I was just like, I just listen. Just listen. You know what I mean? You can hear the voices telling you what to do if you put your ego to the side and you just listen. Oh no, bro, that's the only way I could really describe it. You know what I mean? But it's a process. It's a process. And it's a lot of delayed gratification. Like I'm not out partying every night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that, bro. I can tell you a lot more, bro, but I live a very organized, orderly life. Some would say it's boring. It's not boring to me. But I put in the work, bro.
That's right.
And I'm not afraid to I'm not afraid to explore myself and explore the world at the same time. A lot of people explore the world, but they don't want to explore themselves.
That's heavy.
I know it's a little deep.
That's perfect, man. That's perfect. Just listen, man. Hear you say that, that's powerful. And, you know, growing up, my grandmother, she used to always say, like, you have 2 ears, you got 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, but 1 mouth for a reason. So as a creative filmmaker, how do you just listen in those moments, whether it's chaos going on, personal things going on, when it's time to create, when it's time to build? How do you just slow down and pause and just simply listen?
That's the hard part, Caleb.
Mm.
That's the really hard part. And I wish I had an easy answer.
Yeah.
I really wish I had an easy answer, but it's different for everybody. I'll give you an example. I use music.
Mm-hmm.
I use music. One, I use my work. Two, I kind of drown myself out in my work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those two things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on a big project, man. I'm working on a big IP.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go into further detail about when we have more time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like a big, I was a big like Final Fantasy Zelda nerd growing up. So I like RPGs and long stories. I would like to call myself a storyteller, or be able to call myself a storyteller at some point in the future. But I'm working on a big project, and in doing so, in working on all of my projects, I will say this, that the information that comes across in my work, I have to internalize first. It's just not me gathering information, repackaging it, and reselling it. With it is, but within that process, there's an internalization of this information, or you know what I mean, kind of like a what you preach kind of thing, where I have to really become what I'm teaching, or what I'm writing, or what I'm editing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Actually become it. And that's what I'm saying. That's where the ego has to get thrown to the side. But everybody doesn't go through that process, bro. Everybody does. And you see these people, they're in the spotlight, you know? You see these people in the conscious community, even where they're driven by their egos.
Yeah.
Bro, like what they're doing is not for the people, it's for them. You know what I mean? It's because they want accolades. It's because they want the praise. Because they want to be honored, and they want to be on the tongues of everybody's mouth. I've never been like that, bro. Like, I rarely even do these podcasts. You know what I mean? Like this fame stuff don't really mean nothing to me, bro. Like, when I'm gone, remember me for my works, bro. Remember me for what I did. You know what I mean? Not really who I was. Like, that's not really important. Like, who I was, because who I am is always changing. You know what I mean? Always like evolve, right? So who I was 15 years ago is not the person that you would see today. And the person that you would see today is not the person you're going to see in 20 years from the future. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. Man, that's heavy. Earlier, you said something that was very profound as well. Being a father, you know, you've had to learn how to push your ego to the side. How has being a father transformed you as a man?
It makes you a man.
Yeah.
It makes you a man. It's definitely a rite of passage, because again, your child is going to make you practice what you're preaching to them. You understand?
Yeah.
They're going to make you be the living example of what you're telling them to do if you're a good parent, right? And in that process, you're going to find out some things about yourself that you didn't know there. And you're going to work through that for your own personal process of evolution. You know what I mean? Your own becoming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, kids push your boundaries, man. You know, you think you're calm and collect. Have a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think you're easygoing and you don't get upset. Have a child. Have a child. There's no rule book. You know, the best you can do is kind of call up your mom or your dad and say, hey, I'm going through this, or call up other people that's, You know what I mean? And they might not have answers for you either, because it's like, hey, this is new territory. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
I used to do it like this, but you can't do it like this no more. So how do you figure it out? You know what I mean? It's like constant problem solving, problem solving, right? Again, and then you, like, even now, as I'm talking to you, I'm going through something with my son, and I'm trying to like not let my ego get in the way. You know what I mean? Because with that ego comes anger. Anger is a destructive energy.
Yes, sir.
So it's like, you know, you're trying, you're trying to maintain balance.
Yeah.
You're trying to maintain balance. You can't be too harsh, but you can't be too lenient. You can't be heavy-handed, but you can't just let them walk all over you. You know what I mean? And especially for parents, if there's anybody watching this, where you have your child is going between different households. You know what I mean? That's even more strain on the child, because he's going between these two different worlds and these two different set of rules. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they have to find balance within themselves at the same time you're trying to find balance. And I think that's what life is about, man. You know, I'm not saying that having a child is the only way you can learn that, but the sure way for you to learn patience and learn how to achieve that balance in life. And you know, that just trickles down to my work, you know, being a director, having to work with other people. You know, you can't get mad at people. You know what I mean? As a director, you have to learn how to work with people. And even if you're angry, even if something is not going right, you know what I mean? Being in a leadership position, because that's what you are. People are looking at you and they're depending on you, and they're modeling themselves after you. And they're watching what you do, and they're watching how you treat them and how you treat other people. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're going to be in that position, you know, you got to be mindful of not just yourself, but of everybody else that you're involved with. You know what I mean? So like they say, with great power comes great responsibility. So
heavy is the crown. That's it. That's it, man. Bro, again, man, from seeing your doc, playing it in its full entirety, blown away. And the talent as well, like whether you had somebody playing as, I'm sorry, set. I was like, yo, this is hard, man. So like, how did you find talent to play these roles? Because that was detailed, because you could have been lazy and just had random B-roll, but no, you had actual scenes in there.
I could have. I got lucky.
Wow.
Well, Heru is played by my son.
Wow. Wow.
Little Heru is played by my son.
Wow.
Set is played by his mother.
Yeah.
The other 3 actors, I'm in certain film circles out here. I live in Las Vegas. I'm in certain film circles. I found a couple through there, but I think I just put an ad on like Craigslist or something like that. This was back in 2015. So I just put an ad on Craigslist, bro. And they responded. And the guy who plays the older Heru, he sent me all of his pictures and all of his tattoos on his arm.
I saw the tats. I was like,
and stuff. I was like, whoa! You know what I mean? It just happened to line up that way, right?
Yeah.
It just really happened to line up that way, bro. It just be the ancestors. It just be the ancestors just making this stuff happen. Like sometimes you kind of just have to let stuff happen, bro. If that makes sense. If you're on your path, right? And if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, the ancestors will open doors for you.
That's right.
You know, or God, you know what I mean? However you want to put it, I kind of put them in, you know what I mean, together. Don't separate the ancestors from God. So if you keep saying ancestors, you know, I might use them interchangeably, but put it in or I'll say the creator. Just letting stuff happen, bro. And stuff will get delivered to you. So they kind of got delivered to me. And even when we were filming, bro, that wasn't choreographed or anything like that.
Wow.
Everybody, the first day, that was the first time them meeting each other. I said, hey, let's go out here and y'all just swing these swords around and just fight. You know what I mean? I know it's hot. You know what I mean? We're out here at the Valley of Fire. It's like 117 degrees outside.
Wow.
You guys just swing these swords around for an hour. I'm going to kind of direct you. I'm going to set that camera up over there. I'm going to be over here. Got my drone guy over there.
Wow.
He's flying the drone around you guys. After I say about 15 minutes of you guys swinging these swords around, we'll kind of try to figure out what's working, what's not working. We'll build on that. You guys do it 45 minutes of shooting. Then they start getting really comfortable, start really having fun. You know, I'm doing my director thing, making it fun for everybody. Boom, boom, boom. We're in and out. I do my job as an editor later. Boom. That's how it ended up happening.
Yeah.
Wow. I know it. I hope I'm not like deglorifying. But you know, I do plan for stuff like that whole shoot. I had to get a special permit and I had to have the park ranger show me, you know what I mean? We had to really go I don't know if if you're familiar with Valley of Fire, but it's a bit like Valley of Fire is a huge state park. It's millions of years old. It's got beautiful red rock that you see. There's all different types of sections. That's actually where in the Star Trek movie, I want to say that's where Spock was buried. I don't know, I'm Trekkie. But in the movies, they like use that location because it looks like an alien planet, right? Yeah. So, yeah, bro. That shoot was very fun. But I just let the guys do their thing. You know what I mean? Just like I just let the elders do their thing. Like I give them, I ask them I might ask them a question, like how I'm like doing with you, like very long-winded answers. Yeah. That's because I'm talking about. That's because I'm talking about me though. Yeah. But I would just ask the elders a question, and they knew all the other 7 questions that were going to follow without me having to even ask. They're like, oh, okay. So they just, they'll just talk for minutes straight. And I'm like, you answered all of the questions that I had. You know what I mean? That's how you know somebody very wise. Abba will do that to you. Yeah. Professor Hall will do that to you. Tony Browder will do that to you. Renoko Rashidi will do that to you. Yeah, you talking to them and they just know every question you're gonna ask. You know what I mean? It just aligns, man. Like, again, not to get too metaphysical with it, but it's just all about the alignment. Shout out to my brother, Gifted C. Johnson. He did the music. He did the music score. He's a brilliant brother.
And the music was excellent.
Yeah, man. I had some help with the music. I had some all of those like real organic pianos and strings that you know what I mean? That's Gifted C. Johnson. He actually worked on Hidden Colors series too. But that's my boy, Detroit. And then shout out my boy Toby Tansel and Vondell Williams. Those are my business partners. Both of those guys are from Detroit. I'm actually working on a Detroit film as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that, man. Yeah. Amadeuz, bro. In the film, everything was just A1 from like top to bottom. And one of the things that I loved was that you challenged our beliefs. Growing up in the South, of course, Bible Belt, everybody's Christian base, heavy in the church, but seeing how you would break down certain things, I was like, man, I love it, because as a storyteller, you were pushing boundaries, whether it's talking about God, our concept of God, all of those things. I think one of the top ones was breaking down of the 23rd Psalm, thy rod and thy staff, they shall comfort me, break that down, ancient Kemet, I love that. Yahweh, that name, I think you brought out Exodus 15:3. I'm like, yo, he's providing sources for everything he's saying, like trip. So what motivated you just to say, yo, I'm gonna go all out and I'm gonna try to make you feel uncomfortable sometimes?
I think that we grow through being uncomfortable. I'm gonna repeat that again.
Wow. Yeah.
We grow out of being uncomfortable. It's just like resistance training, bro. When you go to the gym, you're not in there comfortable, bro.
That's right.
They're breaking down muscle. and you're fighting against your own body because your body's like, this is too hard. Let's just stop. You know, timer says 18 minutes, but bruh, let's just stop at 10 because I'm tired. No, you got to do the whole 18 minutes, and then you got a cool down period, an extra 3 minutes. Oh, we got it. You know what I mean? Pushing yourself. Last week you was at this many weights, and now you got it at this. You know what I mean? You got to keep pushing the bar. Even speaking arrangements. I mean, speaking engagements. You know, like those are uncomfortable circumstances. Like you are taken out of your comfort zone, and doing that, doing that uncomfortable task. You know, because work is never fun, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like real strenuous work, whether it be physical or mental. It's not fun. Most of the time, it's not fun. But when we do it, we learn stuff about ourselves. We learn, hey, I can go past. I thought my breaking point was here, and it's really here. You know what I mean? I thought it was really. I can go the distance. I can take that criticism. I can take. I can develop this thick skin where people say things and it doesn't hurt me. You know what I mean? I could look at what they're saying and take the positive things and learn from those and make me a better person. You know what I mean? So I just, I'm always trying to push the bar, right? Even in myself. And I find that most of the time in doing so, it's impossible not to make people uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Because people don't want to change.
That's right.
That's why a lot of people are scared to go into ancient Kemet. Like off to you coming from a Christian background, and I come from that Christian background, so I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like people are just dismissive of the information because they don't want their personal beliefs to be challenged, right? Maybe they're not prepared to really defend those beliefs, right? Maybe they're not as educated as they believe they are, right? Or they're showing you, right? Maybe they doubt whether their religion is actually true. That's why they try to go so hard to try to project and defend, you know what I mean? And defend it. But it takes the ability of someone to say, I can totally be wrong. Everything that I know could be totally wrong, right? I could, you know what I mean? I could just be insane out of my mind. Let me take that position that I'm wrong, and let's explore this side and see where it takes me.
Wow.
And then weigh that up against where you originally were. That might end at a dead end where you go with the opposite, playing devil's advocate. But in reaching that dead end, you might learn a whole bunch of stuff on this side. And bring that up, and then that helps you to achieve balance. Like Professor Small said that in a video we just did on my YouTube channel, Building 7 on my YouTube channel. He says, he explains that concept versus the Heru versus the Set. And he says, if you're too much on any one side, it's evil. If you're too much on the Heru side, you're evil. It's too much on the Set side, you're evil. And I was like, it took, like, when he first said that to me, as I'm recording him, listening, I'm like, ooh, that's deep. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I agree with that at first, right? Too much on the Heru side, you're evil. But it makes sense because you're out of balance.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? That means you're not even considering any other sides at that point. You've become, like in Star Wars, they say like the Sith. It's like the Sith only deal in absolutes. It's either extreme side or one other extreme side, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of like this zero-sum game where there could be no middle ground. I try to always find the middle ground, right? So in Heavy as a Crown, it kind of like builds you up the whole time, right? You drop all of the stuff that you're talking about. The In the Name of God chapter comes at the end, right? So it's like I've already kind of buttered you up with all.
Yeah.
I start attacking you with the truth, really.
Yeah.
Because the uncomfortableness with the uncomfortable. But again, it's just uncomfortable because that information is not told to us. It's just new.
That's right.
It's just new. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm using the sources that you're pointing out, because, hey, don't argue with me. It's in the book. You know what I mean? Like, this is not my opinion, guys. It's not my opinion. This is in the book. This is what it literally says in the book. Right? I didn't say there's nothing in Heavy as the Crown, especially as it pertains to like other religions, specifically like Judaism. Like Jewish scholars haven't said themselves. Jewish biblical scholars haven't said themselves in a much more direct way. You know what I mean? I padded it and I put everything into context as far as like its relation to ancient Kemet, which makes it so special in my opinion.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Everything was just executed beautifully. And honestly, man, from watching Heavy as the Crown, my standard, it became so high. I felt super conscious. I felt awoke. I felt everything that I think I was, supposed to take from that film. And it's wild because from switching from that to watching regular TV, whether it was Power, this show, that show, I'm like, yo, to know where we came from and to then watch this, I felt so conflicted. So how does it feel sometimes, whether it's just walking around in the Bay Area or watching TV and knowing where we came from to now seeing us in this current condition? How does that feel sometimes? And then two, how do you think we can come out of that current condition?
Ooh, that's a good question, bro. That's an excellent question. I'm going to answer that question very honestly. When I see the conditions that, and I'm using my words very carefully here, when I see the condition that we allow ourselves in today, it's heartbreaking and motivating at the same time, because my father always raised me to leave something better than how you found it.
That's right.
I remember like going to like picnics as a kid, and after the picnic would be over, or the family gathering would be over, and there's a whole bunch of trash on the ground, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't just sit there and go to the car. Like, I had to pick up the trash. Like, I was the kid. I was the one, still do it to this day. Picking up the trash. You know what I mean? Making sure everything is better than when we left it. I feel like I have a chip on my shoulder about being Black. And that's another reason why I do that. You know what I mean? But even at my events, you know what I mean? Even at my screenings and stuff, after the event is over, I'm stacking chairs. Everybody's like, Amadeuz, you know what I mean? Go talk to the people. And I'm stacking up because I'm always doing, I feel like I have to do something. You know what I mean? I have to contribute something. I can't just sit idly. You know what I mean? So I take that approach to life, bro. And that's really what drives my work. It's just that if there was nothing wrong, I feel like there would be nothing for me to do. Like, I'd be doing something different.
That's heavy. Yeah.
So I feel like this is my purpose. Like, we walk in this beautiful mansion. It's a beautiful, beautiful mansion, right? But there's filth and junk everywhere. And the paint is peeling, you know what I mean? And the chandelier's broken and there's roaches and stuff and there's dirty dishes everywhere, but it's a beautiful house. Like if somebody just went in here and fixed it, this would be the nicest house on the block. But everybody in this house is just kind of sitting around, like everybody's just kind of gotten used to the condition. That's what I mean by eliminating the standard, right? We've lowered the standard so low that now everybody's comfortable with roaches and stuff crawling around them. And it's like, no, you guys, turn this, let's get these lights on, let's get this water running, let's get this paint repainted, let's get this, we gotta demo everything, we're gonna put new floors in here, we're gonna redo the baseboards, we're gonna put new windows in here, we're gonna get a pest control to get, you know what I mean? Stuff needs to be done. So when it's done, then we can sit up here and chill.
That's right.
But until this house is together, why are y'all sitting around chilling, bruh? Y'all chilling. And that's the part that angers me. It's a two-part answer. One part, I'm heartbroken, but I see the potential. But at the same time, I'm frustrated and angry because it's like, you guys aren't moving. You know what I mean? And then but when you bring that energy to the community, it's like, you're trying to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Try to tell me what to do. I'm not used to all that masculine energy. You know what I mean? That energy can get you killed. Because all it takes for somebody to say, I don't like what you're saying, bro. You know what I mean? I don't like how you talking to me. You disrespected me, bro. Watch your tone. And it's like, all of that is gone. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother psychological issue. But I see to answer your question, I see the mansion behind all of that dirt and filth. I see potential, and I just feel this is my job, and I'm not the only one who feels like this. I'm sure you feel like this too. This is the reason why you're doing your podcast, is because you feel like, especially as Black men, we got a lot of work to do, bro. We got a lot of cleaning up to do. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to waste time talking about who made the mess. That's not important at this point.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not important to talk about who made the mess. It's important to talk about how the mess was made so we can stop the mess. You know, the mess doesn't get worse. You know what I mean? If there's dirty water coming out of the faucets, okay, let's turn the faucets off. We could do that. So there's no more dirty water filtering into the house. We can turn the water off, right? But let's figure out how to get the clean water. Let's have that conversation, right?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I'm bringing to the table.
Yes, sir. Exceeding that. Yeah,
and
man.
I'm just one person, bro. I'm just one person with the media company, but I have a lot more stuff to give. So much bigger projects, man. Like you just said, right? You go back into the real world and stuff just, you know what I mean? It just, I got something for you, bro. Give me a couple years, man, to really get this deal. Like you like Game of Thrones. You like. I'm a big nerd, man. I'm a big nerd. I'm a big, again, Final Fantasy, Zelda, fantasy, Game of Thrones kind of guy. You know what I mean? I like those long, epic stories. You know, Lord of the Rings. Even though the Rings isn't really my cup of tea, I just wish, because there's such a repository of African folklore, right? And these really everybody's stealing from Africa and repackaging it and selling it, and they put it in kind of like a European kind of, context, and with castles and stuff and all of the dragons, and that's cool. Yeah. But I feel like there's just an untapped, unlimited resource of African mythology and folktale that we could tell, that I am in the process of telling. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm probably in the future, like 10, 20 years from now, people will come back and like find this. that I did to be like, oh yeah, he was talking about it way back then. The name of it is Aria. I'm working on a big project called Aria. It's already copyrighted, so don't try to steal the name.
I love that.
Not you, but
no, of course.
People stole my old, somebody, a major football player stole my old logo, man. I had to read it. That's how I got this logo.
Wow. I love that logo too.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, man.
People will steal your stuff, man. So you also got to protect your plans. You can't let everybody know what you're doing all the time, man. So, you know, there's a thin line between promoting and you know, planning and keeping things from people so they don't spoil your plans, you know.
Man, I understand that. I've seen it, man, firsthand. So yeah. Man, Amadeus, you've been so gracious. One of my last two questions, brother. Speaking on the logo, you know, alignment, I was literally just about to ask that question next. So that was perfect timing. Man, from receiving the hat, the film, especially, bro, the hat. I love hats. I love streetwear. And man, just touching everything, feeling it, the logo, the stitching. I'm like, yo, this is so detailed. Your brand, your channel. I love video quality. So seeing like you have the best quality, great content, great conversations, the standard, constantly, you know, hearing you say that. How does that implement even in small things such as merch, such as the YouTube channel and filming as well?
Man, you asked the best questions, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey,
just like, I'm just amazed because I don't come across people too often that pay attention to stuff like, you know what I mean? Like I pay attention to like how the stitching is on the inside of the hat. Like we had to go through several drafts of the hat so they can just get the stitching right. You know what I mean? The tatami stitching and you know what I mean? Just making sure everything's right, bro. The patent leather and the belt buckle, you know, this is snake skin belt buckle. Right? It's all custom, bro. I designed this, bro, like everything. So it's about being consistent across all areas of business with that quality, be it product and be it your behavior, be it your interaction with people. You know what I mean? Because when you're going through several drafts with the, you know, people overseas and stuff, you got to learn how to talk to these people, bro. You can't be, you know what I mean? It's racism and white supremacy goes out of the window, bro. This is business. We're not in racism, white supremacy world anymore. This is business. You got to learn how to talk to people and learn how to get people to move, and you know what I mean? You want people on your side. I just try to maintain that standard of quality. Like you said, like I'm very into streetwear, you know what I mean? It's just how I grew up, you know what I mean? Something that's not up, like, you know how it was, you get played or you get laughed at for having knockoff stuff and knockoff J's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bro, come on. Make sure everything is legit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, make sure this feels solid, right? Solid, right? But I don't know. Did you ask me about the logo itself, like what it means?
I mean, yeah, that as well. Like we could break it down with the 7, the serpent, whole 9 too. Why not?
Yeah, bro. Real quick. So the S, I'm trying to bring everything back. The S really the from the metal netter makes it's a DJ. It's like a just sound.
Wow.
Write it as DJ, right? I call myself a Jedi, but instead of J, I put the D in front, right? So my social media says Jedi, right? So that DJ, it's written as a serpent in the metal netter, kind of similar to how it is, but not a slight variation. But it means in metal netter, it means to say. It means like, you know how you would it means like to recite this. Like if you see it on the wall, it'll say it's actually like giving instruction to say this, whatever comes after that.
Wow.
The hand that comes out of the mouth of the snake, also a Medu symbol, and it's written as just a D by itself, and that means to give. Right? So it's to say and to give. Well, really, the snake represents the word. And I'm trying not to get too deep with it. It represents like vibration and the word, and matter forming into existence, like a sine wave almost. Like I don't know if you ever music, but sine wave like that, right? That's how vibration looks. It looks like that, like a snake. And when you kind of look, you see a snake on the ground, the way it undulates on the ground, and kind of, it can look like it's not even moving, but it's moving. You know what I mean? So that's the word. So it actually says Jed, or, you know, Jedi, right? Because you got the I on top too. 7, bro, we can go into hours about the number 7. It's just a deeply number. The 7 circumpolar pole stars that revolve around the North Star. So that's the cosmological meaning. The 7 also be seen as an adze, A-D-Z-E, which is also the Big Dipper. And talking to my astrology people, and that snake could also represent Draco constellation. Wow. That's hence the green. So yeah, bro. Because you know, they use the ads for the opening of the mouth ceremony. When you see you know, when you see it in the Medu Neter, it's usually like Anubis that's holding the ads up to the nose of the deceased, right? So it's a lot, bro. Yeah, I probably keep going, but you know, that's just on a basic level what it means.
Man, talk about details. I love it.
Yeah, the red, black, and green. Obviously, you know, that's Africa. You know. Yeah. Own colors. You know. I mean, that got its meaning. Red, black, and green all day. That it's actually trademarked. So it's stolen. It's trade. That's actually in the trademark. Like I really had to write all of this stuff in the trademark. Everything that I just do, I had to write. The trademark attorney. I had to put it in writing. So actually, like red, black. I'm the first person. I'm probably one of the first people, if there's any other people who have trademarked red, black, and green. You know what I mean? And under everything, the context of everything that I'm telling.
Wow. Hey, you got the business on point. I love that, man. I respect that. Amadeuz, bro. Very last question, man. You killed this. This conversation, like one of my favorites by far. Where do you see yourself as a man, as a father, as a filmmaker, the media company, everything within the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 years, I will be working on the project that I've been kind of inadvertently discussing with you, that I really too many details about, but I just see it as being the biggest thing, like, since sliced bread, bro. I know that's like super corny, but I just think, like, in this world, like how we're moving over to this whole idea of just entertainment and just being just totally just into social media and entertainment and just constantly want stimulation and being overly entertained and just over into our devices and all of this stuff. And the way here's the bigger point, the way we learn through mythology and allegorical stories. Like there's a lot of people who don't know anything about African history, but they can tell you the whole lore of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You can sit there and tell you, hours about Lord of the Rings lore, about ogres and orcs and dragons, but they don't know anything about African history, right? Because it's just not important to them.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is make an IP, an intellectual property, a long story that I can infuse and incorporate those African ideas, those African mythologies, those African folktales, and African an African philosophical story. I feel that that would be my greatest way of being able to teach, if that makes sense.
Most definitely.
So that's what I'm working on. And I just see that being like landing at like a big platform. Like, I don't know what platforms is, you know, because you having the streaming wars right now, is you got Disney, you got HBO, and you got Amazon Prime, and then you got Netflix kind of like wavering a little. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see where we are in the next like 5 years. So right now I'm actually writing the first book of it. I'm about a quarter way done of the first book. So just to give you an idea of how expansive this project is going to be, there's going to be 16 books in total. So if I put out a book every year, we're talking about something that's going to take up the next 16 years of my life. Right. In addition, it's a book series. It's an episodic season, be like 8 seasons on a HBO streaming platform. And really a game, bro. It's really an RPG video game that would come out in like 3 or 4 different parts, probably like 4 parts. So like I told you in the very beginning, bro, like everything that's why I said in the very beginning of this interview, I said out of darkness and heavy as a crown is like practice for me. It's kind of like building up to this big project that I'm working on. And I've been developing this story for at least 10 years now. Wow. And very seriously now starting to kind of move forward with that. So I have a couple more film projects I want to wrap up. I have another installment of Heavy as the Crown that I'm working on. And I have a 2-part Detroit project that I'm wrapping up. So I'll put those out. And then after I put those out, all ships sailing ahead with this larger project.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man.
And I'm not just aimlessly wandering around. I definitely have you know what I mean? I definitely have a plan. Yeah. But at the same time, I got to put food on the table and support a family. So, you know?
Hey, I can only respect it, man. Amadeuz, I love this a lot. Very last question, for real. Each guest, you know, I have to ask, who would you like to see on the platform next and make it happen?
Woo, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I am a big fan of Dr. Tommy J. Curry.
Okay.
He has a called The Man Not.
The Man Not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because that is a whole, we can't even go off on that branch right now, but that is a conversation that I feel like us as Black men need to have, and the overall collective community needs to have. And that's a very serious conversation. But if I had to pick somebody, I would pick Dr. Tommy J. Curry.
Okay.
Because he's just so, he's brilliant. He's just one of those guys that's in academia. He's in the academy, and he had language. He had language to really express a lot of the frustration that we have as Black men.
Okay.
You know, what's been going on in the community that a lot of people are afraid to talk about and don't want to talk about, and I'll probably get in trouble by bringing it up in the first place. But not to end it on a somber note like that. You know, we got some serious work to do, man. We got some serious work to do.
Yes.
You know, it's not going to be easy. This is not going to be, you know.
Man, Amadeuz, man, you dropped so many gems. Where can everybody stream everything, keep up with your work as well before we go? Because that's super important too.
Absolutely. outofdarknessfilm.com is where you can get the 2 films. It has all of the links. It's really Out of Darkness and Heavy as a Crown is available on Amazon Prime. It's available on Apple TV. It's available on Google TV. It's available on YouTube Movies. It's available on the YouTube Fandango. It's available on Vimeo on demand. We're in 60 different English-speaking territories worldwide. It'll be that hard to find the film.
Right.
As far as like my personal contact, they can hit me on IG at Amadeuz Christ. I got a Facebook page that I kind of really don't go on and too much in Facebook. And also, bro, the YouTube channel is booming right now. YouTube.com.
I'm subscribed.
Building 7.
Yeah.
How it sounds, but the V in the word 7 is an actual 7. If that makes sense. Yeah. Building SE7EN. That's my YouTube channel. I'm constantly putting content up there. We got some super dope videos, super dope content up here. You already know, I just dropped something with Kaba the other day, and it's already tracking the 14, 15,000 out the gate. So the YouTube channel is on fire. Yeah. And yeah, Google me.
Google me. Hey, that's how you got.
Amadeuz ain't really important, but my work, I just stand behind my work. I make it a point to do quality work, quality stuff. I try to be a person of quality, and I like to work with others who are on that same alignment, so to speak.
Right, man. Amadeuz, you killed this. This conversation will be saved. Of course, I'm gonna save this recording. But man, from the bottom of my heart, everyone who I know, we appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing because it's needed. Much love, and you be safe. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.